You think you need a neon sign and a written invitation before you touch her, but the truth is, she's already given you 7 green lights, and you're sitting there in the parking lot wondering if it's okay to start the engine. Let me tell you something. While you're overthinking, analyzing, and waiting for the perfect moment, she's watching you hesitate and slowly reclassifying you from potential lover to safe friend. And that shift, it happens faster than you think. Here's what nobody tells you about female attraction. It has an expiration date. Not because women are fickle, but because uncertainty kills desire. When a woman wants you to make a move, she doesn't just want it, she needs it. She needs to know you're the kind of man who can read the room, trust himself, and take calculated risk. And when you don't, when you wait and ask for more proof and more certainty, you're not being respectful, you're being invisible, and invisible men don't get chosen, they get overlooked, while she finds someone who wasn't afraid to step forward. So if you're tired of missing opportunities, tired of realizing 3 months later that she was into you, tired of being the guy who would have had a chance if only he'd tried, then you need to hear this. You need this reminder not once but over and over, because the culture you live in has spent 20 years teaching you to second-guess your instincts. That's why you're going to subscribe right now. Not for me, for you. Because every week I'm going to give you the clarity that the world is deliberately withholding. I'm going to tell you the truth that makes you uncomfortable and free at the same time. Hit that button. You need this more than you want to admit. Now let's get into it. Here are the 7 signs she wants you to make a move, asterisk right now, and why you keep missing them. Asterisk sign 1. She creates isolation opportunities, asterisk. She suggests you two go somewhere quieter. She lingers after the group leaves. She engineers time alone with you, even if it's just walking to her car or grabbing coffee before everyone else shows up. You think that's coincidence. You think she's just being friendly. But here's the truth, women don't accidentally end up alone with men they're not interested in. They don't create windows of privacy with guys they see as buddies. She is handing you the stage, dimming the lights, and waiting for you to perform, and you're asking her if she needs help finding the exit. Stop. She already knows where the exit is. If she wanted it, she'd have taken it. The fact that she's still there in your orbit, away from witnesses and buffers, is the invitation. That's her way of saying now, while no one else is watching, show me who you are. And what do most men do? They fill the silence with small talk. They ask her about work. They crack a joke to diffuse the tension. They do everything except acknowledge the electricity in the room. That's called anxiety management. And it kills attraction faster than bad breath. Because when you refuse to meet her in that tension, when you dissolve it instead of stepping into it, you're communicating one thing: I'm not ready. I'm not the guy. I don't trust myself enough to handle what happens next. And she hears that loud and clear. Asterisk sign 2. She touches you first, asterisk. A hand on your arm when she laughs. Her knee brushing yours and staying there. She fixes your collar. She playfully shoves you. Understand this, women are hyper-aware of physical space. They don't invade yours by accident. When she touches you, especially more than once, especially in ways that linger, she is opening the door. She is giving you permission to reciprocate. She is testing to see if you'll meet her halfway, or if you'll flinch and pretend it didn't happen. And most of you pretend it didn't happen. You ignore it because you're afraid of misreading it. You're afraid that if you touch her back, you'll be that guy. So you do nothing. And in doing nothing, you become forgettable. Here's what you don't realize. She's more afraid than you are. She's risking rejection every time she reaches out. The fact that she's doing it anyway means she's already decided you're worth the risk. But she can't do all the work. She can't escalate forever while you sit there paralyzed. At some point, she's going to stop trying. She's going to pull back. And she's going to find a man who isn't afraid to touch her shoulder, hold her gaze, and close the distance she's been begging you to close. Asterisk sign 3. She holds eye contact just a little too long. Asterisk. You say something. She looks at you, and instead of glancing away after a polite second or two, she holds it. She searches your face. She smiles faintly, almost like she's daring you to look away first. And you do. You break it. You laugh nervously. You check your phone. You look at literally anything else because the intensity makes you uncomfortable. But that intensity, that's not awkwardness. That's interest. That's her way of saying, I see you. Do you see me? And when you break the gaze, you're answering, no, I'm not ready to see you. I'm not ready to be seen. Listen carefully. Eye contact is the language of intimacy. It's how two people communicate attraction without saying a single word. When she holds your eyes, she's inviting you into a moment of shared vulnerability. She's saying, I'm right here, come closer. And if you can't hold that gaze, if you can't breathe through the discomfort and let the moment expand, you will never build the kind of tension that leads to anything real. You'll stay in the friend zone not because she put you there, but because you refuse to leave it. Asterisk, sign 4. She asks you personal questions and actually listens. Asterisk, not surface level stuff. Not where do you work or what's your sign. She wants to know what you care about, what you're afraid of, what you're building. She leans in when you talk. She remembers details from 3 conversations ago. She follows up. This is not casual curiosity. This is investment. She is studying you because she's trying to figure out if you're the man she thinks you are. She's building a case for you in her mind. And if you don't recognize that, if you treat her attention like it's ordinary, you're wasting the most valuable thing a woman can give you, her focus. Because here's the reality. A woman's attention is finite and selective. She's not interviewing every guy she meets. She's not deep diving into the inner world of someone she sees as a friend. When she's doing that with you, it's because she's imagining a future. She's testing compatibility. She's giving you the opportunity to be interesting, to be vulnerable, to show her that there's depth behind the surface. And what do most men do? They give one-word answers. They deflect. They don't ask her anything back. They treat the conversation like an interrogation instead of an invitation. And then they wonder why she loses interest. Asterisk, sign 5. She mirrors you. Asterisk. She adopts your body language. She matches your energy. If you lean in, she leans in. If you slow down, she slows down. This is subconscious. She's not doing it on purpose. It's a biological signal of rapport and attraction. It means her nervous system is syncing with yours. It means she feels safe with you. It means she's open. And if you're paying attention, if you're actually present instead of stuck in your head, you'll feel it. You'll notice the rhythm between you, the way the conversation flows, the way silence doesn't feel awkward. That's chemistry. That's the foundation. And it's your job to build on it. But you won't build on it if you're too afraid to escalate. If you're waiting for her to make the next move. If you're hoping she'll just kiss you so you don't have to risk anything. That's not how this works. She's mirroring you because she's following your lead. She's waiting for you to step up. And if you don't, if you just enjoy the rapport and never do anything with it, you're not a man she's attracted to. You're a man she's comfortable around. And comfort without tension is friendship. Nothing more. Asterisk, sign 6. She mentions being alone, being single, or what she's looking for. Asterisk. She tells you she's not seeing anyone. She mentions that her Friday night is wide open. She casually drops that she's been wanting to try that new restaurant but hasn't found anyone to go with. These are not fun facts. These are instructions. She is removing obstacles. She is clearing the path. She is saying, I am available. I am interested. Now do something about it. And you nod politely. You say, oh, that's cool. You let the moment pass. And then you go home and wonder why she started dating someone else 2 weeks later. Here's the truth. She's not going to ask you out. Even in this day and age, even with shifting norms, most women still want the man to initiate. Not because they're old-fashioned, but because initiation is a filter. It separates the men who want them from the men who really want them. It separates the hesitant from the decisive. When you don't act on the openings she gives you, you're failing the test. You're showing her that you either don't want her enough or you don't trust yourself enough. Either way, she's moving on. Asterisk, sign 7. She laughs at everything you say, even when you're not funny. Asterisk. She lights up when you walk in the room. Her whole face changes. She's more animated around you than she is with anyone else. This is not politeness. This is attraction. She is amplifying your presence because you matter to her. She is giving you social proof, emotional validation, and a green carpet rolled out in front of you. And if you don't walk across it, if you don't take her enthusiasm as the signal it is, you're not humble. You're oblivious. There's a difference. Most men miss this one because they think she's just a happy person. No, Watch her around other guys. Watch how her energy shifts. If she's giving you a version of herself that's warmer, brighter, more open, that's not her default. That's her asterisk, interested asterisk setting. And it's not going to stay on forever. Eventually she'll get tired of being the only one bringing the energy. She'll get tired of laughing at your jokes while you fail to make a move. And she'll redirect that light towards someone who knows what to do with it. So let's talk about what's really happening here. Let's talk about why you keep missing these signs even when they're obvious. It's not because you're dumb. It's not because you're inexperienced. It's because you've been conditioned to fear rejection more than you value connection. You've been taught that making a move without absolute certainty is predatory. You've been told that you need enthusiastic verbal consent before you even think about touching her hand. And while consent is non-negotiable, the way it's been framed has paralyzed you. It's made you think that any risk is harassment. Any escalation is aggression. Any move without a signed contract is a violation. And that's a lie. A lie that keeps you passive. A lie that keeps you alone. Because here's the reality. Attraction is not a contract negotiation. It's a dance. It's a conversation in subtext. It's two people moving toward each other in increments, testing and responding, advancing and recalibrating. She doesn't want you to ask her if it's okay to hold her hand. She wants you to read the room, trust your gut, and take her hand. And if she pulls away, you respect that immediately. That's the boundary. That's the line. But you can't be so afraid of crossing it that you never approach it in the first place. What this costs you is everything. It costs you relationships. It costs you intimacy. It costs you the respect of women who wanted to choose you but couldn't because you never gave them the chance. And it costs you self-respect because deep down you know when you're hiding. You know when you're playing it safe not out of respect, but out of fear. And that knowledge eats at you. It turns into resentment. Resentment toward women for not making it easier. Resentment toward yourself for being weak. And that resentment poisons everything. So here's the reframe. Making a move is not about imposing your will. It's about honoring hers. When she gives you signs, when she creates opportunities, when she touches you and holds your gaze and asks you personal questions, she is inviting you to lead. She is asking you to be brave enough to take the risk she's already taking. She is testing to see if you're the kind of man who can handle uncertainty, who can read between the lines, who can act with confidence and respect at the same time. And when you do, when you finally step up, you're not being aggressive. You're being aligned. You're meeting her where she already is. Let me tell you about the man who gets this. The man who doesn't miss the signs. He's not smoother than you. He's not better looking. He doesn't have a magic script. What he has is clarity. He knows that attraction is fleeting, and that windows close. He knows that hesitation is a choice, and that inaction is a message. So when she touches his arm, he touches her back. When she holds his gaze, he holds it longer. When she engineers time alone, he uses it. He doesn't overthink. He doesn't wait for permission that's never going to come in the form he's hoping for. He reads the context, trusts himself, and moves forward. And here's what happens. She relaxes. She feels seen. She feels chosen. Because that's what a move is. It's a declaration. It's you saying, I see what's happening here, and I'm not afraid of it. And that confidence, that willingness to step into uncertainty, is the most attractive thing you can offer. It's not about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about showing her that you're the kind of man who can handle the tension, the risk, the possibility of being wrong, and still act anyway. So here's what you do. Starting today, you stop waiting for certainty. You stop analyzing every gesture to death. You stop pretending that hesitation is respect. Instead, you start trusting yourself. You start calibrating in real time. You start escalating in small, reversible increments. Touch her arm when you laugh. Hold her gaze an extra second. Lean in when she's talking. Suggest going somewhere quieter. And watch how she responds. If she pulls back, you pull back. If she leans in, you lean in further. That's the dance. That's how it works. You're not bulldozing. You're not assuming. You're proposing. And she's responding. And together you're building something. You stop treating every interaction like a deposition. You stop asking, is this okay? Is this okay? Is this okay? And you start communicating through action. You stop outsourcing your confidence to her reassurance. Because here's the thing, if she has to tell you it's okay to make a move, you've already lost. She doesn't want to manage your anxiety. She wants you to manage it yourself. She wants you to be the kind of man who can take social risk without falling apart. And the only way to become that man is to practice. To try, to fail sometimes, to succeed other times, to build a tolerance for discomfort and a trust in your own judgment. You stop living in your head. You stop rehearsing conversations that will never happen. You stop imagining worst-case scenarios where she rejects you and tells all her friends and you become a social pariah. That's fantasy. That's catastrophizing. In reality, if you misread a signal, she'll redirect you. If you escalate and she's not interested, she'll let you know. And you'll handle it like an adult. You'll say, "My bad," and you'll move on. No drama, no disaster. Just a moment of miscommunication that you both survive. That's all it is. And the fact that you've built it up into this life or death stakes game is the problem. It's not that serious. But your fear makes it that serious. You stop waiting for her to do your job. You stop hoping she'll kiss you first, ask you out first, confess her feelings first. Because even if she does, and sometimes she will, it won't feel the way you want it to feel. You'll feel like you got chosen by default, like you didn't earn it, like you're along for the ride instead of driving. And that's not the frame you want. You want to be the man who saw the signs, trusted himself, and made it happen. That's the version of the story that builds your confidence and her respect. Anything else is a consolation prize. You stop performing the role of the nice guy who never makes anyone uncomfortable. Because comfort is not the goal. Connection is, and connection requires risk. It requires tension. It requires two people being willing to exist in the space of not knowing and still choosing each other anyway. When you prioritize her comfort over your authenticity, you're not being nice, you're being dishonest, you're hiding. And she feels that. She feels the disconnect between what you want and what you're willing to do. And it repels her. Not because you want her, but because you won't own it. You stop outsourcing your worth to her reaction. You stop thinking that if she says no, it means you're worthless. It doesn't. It means she's not interested. That's it. Maybe the timing's wrong. Maybe the chemistry's not there. Maybe she's dealing with her own stuff. None of that is a referendum on your value as a man. But if you treat it that way, if you crumble every time a woman doesn't choose you, you'll never build the resilience you need to succeed. You'll stay fragile. And fragile men don't attract women. They attract pity. Here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. You are the answer, not her. Not some future version of yourself that's taller or richer or funnier. You, right now, with all your flaws and uncertainties and fears, you are enough. But only if you act like it. Only if you stop waiting for permission to exist fully in your own life. Only if you stop apologizing for wanting what you want and start pursuing it with intention and respect. That's the shift. That's the line between the man who gets chosen and the man who doesn't. She's not looking for perfect. She's looking for present. She's looking for someone who can read the room and trust himself. Someone who can hold tension without dissolving it. Someone who can escalate without forcing. Someone who can lead without dominating. And that someone is you. But you have to choose it. You have to step into it. You have to stop waiting for the world to give you permission and start giving it to yourself. So here's what happens next. You subscribe if you haven't already. You commit to hearing this truth every single week because you need the reminders, you need the recalibration. You need someone in your corner who's not going to sugarcoat the hard stuff. And that's what this channel is. That's what we do here. We tell the truth. We build men who don't need to be coddled. We build men who can handle reality and use it to create the life they actually want. And then you go out and you practice. You stop theorizing and you start doing. You look for the signs. You trust yourself when you see them. You take the small risks. You escalate with respect. You handle rejection with grace. You build the muscle of confidence through repetition, not revelation. And one day, sooner than you think, you'll be the man who doesn't miss the moment. You'll be the man she's been waiting for. Not because you're perfect, but because you're present. And that's all it takes. Welcome to the brotherhood. Let's get to work.